And do you buy that they're still scrapping to try to make the playoffs? Because I think they were, 3 points out starting yesterday. Go.
John, you wanna take the rest of the morning off? I know. I know you do.
I got some emails to return here, so have at it.
Let me ask you something first. What the hell does you have to serve two masters as a GM mean? What in the hell?
It's what I'm. Yeah.
What the hell?
I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
Does that mean? Can you explain it to me? You're a very smart man.
Well, I don't know about
you worked
that,
in the media for a very long time. You understand these phrases.
It's the thing that we've been talking about, seemingly, even Pat and I, before you came back. Commit one way or the other.
Thank you.
Commit to the damn rebuild.
Thank you.
Stop with the competitive rebuild and serving two masters and, I can still shake up this roster, but we still want to make the playoffs. Give me a break. Go ahead.
Thank you. You answered the question exactly as I think everyone would interpret that.
Yeah.
Jon Burton, you mean to tell me that the Predators, without O'Reilly in the lineup the other night, beat the Boston Bruins with a bunch of minor leaguers in the lineup?
Kick their ass.
And then somehow, Barry Trotz sees that and gets it in his head the next morning, the day of the trade deadline, that, well, wait a minute here. I guess we've got something. The night before the Bruins game, the Predators started making trades. So I'm going to take you guys through the whole timeline right here. The Predators were all over the media and the rumor circuits as they are selling. They are moving the core. They are getting everyone they can out, unless it involves significant salary retention. Then they may have to just stick with the player until a later date when they can trade them for a more affordable way. So it looked like when you saw Michael Bunting, Nick Blankenberg,
Cole Smith
and Michael McCarron, thank you. When you saw those four players get traded, and the only thing that came back was draft picks and one prospect, four players, still, Barry Trotz was getting good returns. Those draft picks, especially the Michael McCarron one, was more value than that player was worth. So I
don't know how he pulled that off from Mike McCarron.
We were tipped off by that first trade that the market was going to give better returns than perhaps players' talent deserved. So we had a market indicator that Barry Trotz led us to with the Michael McCarron trade. The rest of the trades he made, I thought he got good value for. Second-round pick, third-round pick, fifth-round pick. Nick Blankenberg's making the league minimum. He only made the team due to injuries and due to other players not being able to go. So Nick Blankenberg gets turned into a fifth-round pick. That's fine. That's a good trade. So you make four trades. The Predators have to keep Cole Smith on the bench dressed in his uniform after they've traded him because they're in violation of the NHL's roster rules if they don't. Mm-hmm. So you go from a scenario of we're selling it all. We're even dressing a player because we don't have enough guys to avoid getting fined by the league. And then, oh, by the way, your flight leaves right after the game. Make sure you get your skates off quickly. So we get to that point, and then the Predators beat the Bruins. Okay?
Yeah.
The next morning, all the rumors start coming out. All of this for Ryan O'Reilly. A first-round pick, a third-round pick, and a prospect. And a high-end, ready-to-play on your roster today prospect. That's what was supposedly out there for Ryan O'Reilly. The New York Islanders were one of the teams that were in that mix. The New York Islanders would make a trade with the St. Louis Blues a couple hours later that involved the same pieces going to the St. Louis Blues for one of their veteran centers. So we already know that that offer was on the table, and more than likely Ryan O'Reilly was their first choice, but the Predators didn't pull the trigger. Okay? Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault didn't pull the trigger. Perhaps there wasn't a good enough deal. Perhaps it was too much salary retention. Okay. Those are three players that have, certain levels of experience, large contracts. It's a more complex trade. The simplest trade on this team to make was Eric Haula. Eric Haula is going to be a free agent. He's on this team for his second time. He's an NHL journeyman who's having a pretty good season right now. Went to the Olympics. His profile is right now as high as it could possibly be for a bottom 6 forward. Plenty of people would love to have a scrappy player like Erik Haula who can also chip in on the offense.
Yeah. So
when the trade deadline came and went, and the Predators made no moves on Friday, I just sat there just befuddled. I'm hitting refresh because you know how these things work. Sometimes the deadline hits, the paperwork's landing.
Exactly,
because
right.
of the
It doesn't get announced until a couple hours later or whatever. We've seen it in baseball. We've seen it in every other sport with a trade deadline.
Because they send the paperwork in 1 minute before the deadline.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting, and I'm refreshing. I'm like, surely any second now we're going to see at least one of these moves made. Like
I came into work Friday after I left here. I went, ran my errands, gym, all that stuff. And then I walked in and I said to Brian, I said, so where did O'Reilly go? He's like, he hasn't been moved yet. I'm like, what?
So here's where I start getting my wires crossed on Friday. I was a little tired, first of all. It was a long week.
Sure.
Tracking this trade deadline, watching it, listening to all this dumb round table talk. Some of those guys need to hang it up already, by the way. Putting me to sleep.
Yeah.
Listen, watching rumors, scanning social media. Nothing happens. Predators put out the tweet. Barry Trotz will address the media at this time. And I went, oh, that's the sign that we're closed. That's it. Everything's over. Once they announce that there's a press conference at a time, there's not going to be any more news. So I just sat there and I started thinking, I want to hear what he has to say. I was like, I want to hear what Barry Trotz has to say about what happened today. Maybe nobody wanted to do business. Maybe there was a reason for this, okay? When he sat down, and again, just a quick reminder, he's no longer the general manager of this team, and this was my biggest fear, was Barry Trotz being a lame duck GM and managing this trade deadline. He comes out and talks to the media and says that he had good trade offers for Erik Haula, but did not move him because at the end of the day, we need a good veteran center like Erik Haula to help us for the rest of the season with the playoff push.
This is me banging my head against the microphone, by the way, folks.
So the first 48 hours leading up to the trade deadline was
we got hockey players and everything must go. Liquidation
sell.
Yep.
Every reporter across the beat, talking about Barry Trotz is on the phone with every team, expect him to move tons of assets. There's a bidding war for Ryan O'Reilly.
Right. And I'm thinking, good, finally.
Right.
Set it up for the next GM, which is what he's talked about.
And what we saw against the Bruins, again, was a team where those players had already been moved on. Ryan O'Reilly was scratched due to the eye injury. Mm-hmm. And there was one other player who ended up missing that game due to injury as well. And the Predators had Joachim Kemmel show up 2 minutes before the game started, threw him out there on the rink, and they beat the Bruins. And they beat him convincingly.
Yeah.
But then somehow Barry Trotz took that game and got into his head the next morning. We need Erik Haula the remainder of the way to remain a competitive team. No, you don't.
It makes no sense.
So Erik Haula is a free agent after this season. Erik Haula is leaving. He is leaving after this season unless the new general manager wants to sign Erik Haula, a journeyman who's having one of the best years of his career, coming off the Olympics, will never be a better trade commodity than he is at this moment. That was the easiest trade for this team and this GM to make. My greatest fear was having a lame duck GM try to go in and have some wishy-washy mentality. Why can't the GM of the Predators put together a plan that is a straight line?
I don't get it.
Move on and start rebuilding.
You've forgotten more about hockey than I'll ever know.
And I'm considering forgetting the rest of it at this point because
I just don't understand why they just can't, rip the Band-Aid off and say, all right, we are rebuilding.
They make those deals, and in the Bruins game, Matt Wood moves up to second-line center. What does he do? He scores two goals in that game. He scores another goal in the next game. Okay?
Yep.
So you give a young guy an opportunity to get in there and play. Svechkov comes back up. He's looking good. Kemmel's in the lineup. Weisblatt. LaRue is scoring now. You know, like, these are the guys that are going to be part of the future that people want to see and get behind. If you had a first, a third, and a roster-ready player for Ryan O'Reilly, and he has absolutely nothing in his contract that says you can't make the deal other than, well, we had a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly should be playing for the Islanders
Stamkos,
today.
who has an ironclad no-movement clause.
Yes, that has to approve the team. If he is to be moved, he has to actually say, yes, I will go to that team, and yes, I will accept that trade. We saw Colton Parayko from the St. Louis Blues say no. He had a no-movement clause, and the Blues announced that he was traded, and he came out and said, no, I'm not. You'd think they would have run that by him and his agent to make sure he was okay with it first, but that's Eric Haula is not going to be here in the future. And teams were calling with good offers, and you said no because you need a veteran center to make a run down the stretch.
Why? So you can go get your doors blown off by either Colorado or Vegas?
They're not going to make it.
They're probably not going to.
They're going to miss by 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah.
They're not going to even get the benefits of getting blown out in the first round and getting some extra revenue and some extra TV time and selling a few more T-shirts.
Right.
I'm serving 2 masters will stick with me forever as one of the worst general manager strategies I have ever heard. You are either committed to moving forward or you are committed to the mediocrity that this team has seen for the last 9 years.
Look, all I know is 2 things. You can't be half pregnant and you can't be half wet. Okay? You either are or you're not. That was puzzling, the whole serving 2 masters deal.
In this next phase of this franchise, whoever the GM is, I want to hear a clear, concise plan that has the direction of this franchise moving forward.
100%.
Not 1 foot staying back and 1 foot slowly inching forward.
But this goes back to David Poile towards the end of his tenure.
Yes, it does.
Competitive rebuild? Can we make the playoffs? Maybe. Possibly.
After 2017 and then 2018 with the President's Trophy win, the team was in danger at that moment. Mm-hmm. We all saw it coming, and the core of the team said, let us run it back one more time.
Yep.
They should have had consequences after 2019, 2020.
Yep.
They haven't won a playoff series since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
They've been embarrassed by the Dallas Stars, by the Arizona Coyotes, by the Vancouver Canucks in the first, and by the Colorado Avalanche, who swept the Predators, the only time they've ever been swept in playoffs in their history.
Mm-hmm.
Embarrassed in every one of those series. I mean, I'm not talking about Arizona being a top team when you lost to them. Colorado, sure, they won the Cup that year. But Vancouver, losing to those guys the way you did?
Yeah.
No. This serving 2 masters press conference will go down as quite possibly, and if there's not fixes to the franchise, it'll go down as one of the worst press conferences they've ever had, and this is coming off the back of a couple of others. And I realize fully, by having an opinion, I am crossing some people right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot seriously look at what happened Wednesday, Thursday, and then see the result of the game against the Bruins and realize that at that moment, Barry Trotz flipped the switch in a different direction and said, oh, well, the boys are fired up. We're competitive again.
Yeah.
We better keep Eric Haula.
Oh, my goodness. All right, your reaction to that and everything else going on, 615-844-5600. Back after this.
Eric.